So it is wonderful to join as we celebrate Black History Month, although I know who is part of this morning, and I know that we celebrate Black History Month in January, in March, in April, and all year round. But yes, every February, we take a time and a more formal time to remember and honor those who came before us. And they are and were the visionaries. They were the innovators. And why do I say innovators? Because they had the ability in their moment in time to see what can be unburdened by what had been. They were the innovators. And of course, the barrier breakers. And of course, the history makers. Those who were clear-eyed about the moment in which they lived. Because at that moment, they weren't trying to think about how it would be in the future in terms of how they'd be talked about. They were clear-eyed about the present and what needed to be done at that moment to create that future for which they had a vision. And so they told the truth then about what they saw at the time that they lived. And they worked to build a better future, a future unburdened by what had been. And I, over the course of my life and my career and also growing up, I got to meet many of these thinkers and activists and leaders from childhood on. They shaped who I am today, and they shape how I lead. And I'm grateful today and every day for all of their work and their sacrifice. And we all know that they are here, and they are with us, and they are watching us, and it is on their broad shoulders that we stand. So today, as we remember their stories, we also recognize that we are a part of a longer story, and we will determine how our chapter gets written. In other words, I think of history in the context of a relay race, right? A relay race, with each generation running their course and then passing the baton to the next. And so, the baton is now in our hands. And what matters is how well we run our portion of the race. So let's see this moment in which we live with the utmost clarity. And let's tell the truth about what we see, knowing that often to speak truth may make folks uncomfortable. To speak truth can often be very difficult because it's things people don't want to see or hear. But truth must be spoken if we are truly to lead and to progress as a country. So right now, what are we looking at? We are looking at a country and a situation where more than 2 in 3 Black Americans personally know someone who has been hospitalized or who has died from COVID-19. Black women workers are being forced out of the workforce in record numbers. And so many Black small businesses are being forced to close their doors. In so many ways, this pandemic has been an accelerator. And for those for whom things were bad before, they're even worse now. For the fissures and the failures, the defects, the flaws in our system during the course of this pandemic have been blown up for all to see. And our response, our collective response, and the response of the leaders who are participating in this celebration also has shown the determination and the aspiration of the heroes among us. Take, for example, someone who Maryland is very proud of, and we all are, UMBC graduate and Black scientist, Dr. Kizzy Corbett, who helped develop the Moderna vaccine, the one I got, and many of us did, that is saving countless lives. You know, I met Dr. Corbett when I went out to visit NIH in, of course, Bethesda, Maryland, during just our second week in office and before I received my shot. And I was so honored to thank her on behalf of our nation. And I was so honored to share a moment with her to also highlight the excellence in terms of who is serving in so many positions, including in science, in medical discovery. And she is but one example, a beautiful example, of the work that has been done historically and continues to be done by Black scientists in America. Take, for example, another hero of this moment, Sandra Lindsay, a Black nurse who was the first person in the United States to get vaccinated. And you all may remember when she got vaccinated, she talked about her dedication to saving lives and uplifting human condition as a nurse. You know, Joe Biden often talks about the fact that the nurses of our country and their skill, their gift, is some of the most important work that can be done in the spirit of love thy neighbor. Let's think about the heroes who are the Black workers, who are on the front lines, risking their lives every day to save perfect strangers, people they've never met before, people they may not know. Let's think about our Black churches that have always been part of the safety net of community and are feeding entire communities while they too are struggling